All right, we have orbiting objects and we're going to be doing notes on that. So we're going to be talking about asteroids, the asteroid belt, meteoroids, meteorites, meteors, comets, and things like that. So we have this, and we also have a couple other things that are a little confusing if I don't explain them. So you have something that is cut out and it looks like this. So you're actually going to put glue on the middle. We're going to glue the middle down like this. So we close it to where it looks like a little flap, and I can open it like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with that one. The other ones, this is a flap. I just cut, and I'm just going to have a little flap. And this one looks kind of funny. We're going to cut it, and then when we put it together, it looks like that. So go ahead and do that. Pause and come on back. Okay. All right, when we do this, we do not want to have anything like flare pens or markers that bleed through because we're going to be writing on the front and the back. So I'm going to get my gel pens and use those today. So on the first page, so we have this, we're going to put the back of the top and we're going to write the asteroid belt. Now, if you listen to my video on the inner and outer planets and the planets, you heard me mention the asteroid belt, which is located in between the inner and outer planets. And you can guess it, a lot of asteroids are found in it. So this is the back of the top flap, and on the top back of that, we are going to write the definition of the asteroid belt. Okay. The asteroid belt is located between Mars and Jupiter, millions of asteroids orbit here. That's why it's called the asteroid belt, because there's so many asteroids. So on the bottom flap, so I'm going to skip this area, I'm going to write what an asteroid is. An asteroid is a small rock that orbits the sun. And sometimes it broke off from a planet or other orbiting objects, and it just happened to continue to orbit around the sun. Now, when I say small rock, I don't mean a teeny tiny pebble. I mean a large chunk of a planet, but it's small compared to the large planets. And it could be small as well. But when I say small rock, I want you to know that it's not a tiny pebble. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a picture. So I have Mars here. Mars is known as the red planet, if you remember on our notes before. So Mars is known as the red planet. It's our last terrestrial planet. If you remember, that means that it's the inner planets. And then we have Jupiter over here. Jupiter is a very large gas giant, and it has a bunch of stripes. It also has the red spot. But in between them, we have a lot of rocks that just orbit with them around the sun. And that is called the asteroid belt. So that is our asteroid belt. Go ahead and pause it and draw that picture, and then we'll talk about comets, or what we call shooting stars. Okay, a comet. What is a comet? A comet is a ball of dust and ice. So we're going to draw it down here because we're going to draw a picture right here. So we're going to draw the definition down here. It is a of dust and ice, kind of like what Saturn's rings are made out of. It has an elliptical orbit, which means it's not completely round, kind of an egg-shaped. It forms a tail as it gets closer to the sun, and that's what we see as the shooting star. We call shooting stars. There's my comet, if you guys can even tell that that's a drawing there. And that's its tail. Okay, so take those notes and then come back. We're going to talk about meteors, meteorites, and meteors. Meteoroids. So there's 3 different kinds. Well, how do you know the difference? Well, the first one is a meteoroid, is a piece of rock that travels close to Earth. So it hasn't hit Earth, it hasn't come into our atmosphere, it is just traveling close to Earth. So they all start with meteor, and then they have a different ending. Meteoroids are, and I'm going to put that in here, pieces of rock that travel close to Earth. Now this is the same piece. I want you to think about this. This is the same piece of rock. When it is close to Earth, it's called a meteoroid. When it goes into Earth's atmosphere, it is called a meteor. Same piece of rock. Now it is called a meteor. Now, most meteors burn up in the atmosphere because it's so hot. But some of them do reach Earth. And those are called meteorites. So meteoroid is when it's in space. Meteor is when it's in the atmosphere. And a meteorite is when it actually hits the Earth's surface. So we're going to do here. Okay. Meteorites. And let's do orange here. Okay, so a meteorite are a meteor that hits the Earth's surface. Okay, so it's a meteoroid when it's in space, a meteor when it's in the atmosphere, and a meteorite once it hits the surface. So we have comets, asteroids, and meteors. Now what I would like you to do is after you take these notes, and I want you to go back to what we have here in this book. There are many different things about asteroids, meteors, meteorites, and meteoroids, and I want you to answer these questions right here for your classwork. Where's the asteroid belt located? Why do comets form a tail? Compare and contrast meteoroids and meteorites. And that's what you're going to submit to your assignment today.